following announcement has been paid for by the WZWA network.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the WZWA network and welcome to my review show here of Battleground Championship Wrestling's tribute to the Extreme from the 17th of December 2022 from the 2300 Arena, the former ECW Arena in Philadephia, Pennsylvania, in front of 1,000 fans. So this is the first time that I've covered a Battleground Championship Wrestling show. We wanted to kind of expand a little bit and try and cover some of these big indie shows like we did with the Return of the Dragon show, etc., etc. So I thought, look, hey, this is going to be our last review of the year, so I might as well give it a whirl, see how we go. But when I first heard about this show, few things came to mind. Number one, how many tribute shows do we need for ECW at this point? It's 2022, man. It's 2022. How many more do we need to have? Also, who from ECW can still go at this stage in the game? That's like my primary concern going into this. Who's going to be able to go out there and put on a match that's worthy of the $20 that you're going to spend on Fight TV for this pay-per-view? You know, it's concerning because there have been some shows over the years, you know, Legends of the Arena that Francine put together. I think there was a show that Dawn Marie put together. Obviously, the old Hardcore Homecomings and Extreme Rising was like supposed to be like a new version of ECW, and you had your one night stands produced by WWE. So there have been a lot over the years. So it's concerning when you're going into something like this, wondering, is this going to be pulled off? Do they have the people for it? Is it going to work out the way that everyone's hoping? So, look, I'm going to be really honest with this review here, and I'll try to be honest all the time. And you should all know me. I'm a massive fan of ECW. I should have put the ECW banner up behind me, but I totally forgot. It is now 1:45 in the morning, and I have work at 8 a.m. So I've got to get through this review. My apologies. Anyway, we start off the proceedings with Stephen DeAngelis on ring announcing duties. So good to have Stephen there. Bill Alfonso shows up and he brings out the one and only Todd Gordon, the man that started the company back in the day. Todd promotes his book, which is, of course, very important. And then Fonzie says to him that, you know, after all these years, he's going to let Todd finally pin him and get his win back over him. Todd gets down, goes for the pin, and Fonzie kicks out. Then Todd lays him out. And then Todd gets the pin and wins the match. So in like 41, 42 seconds, Todd Gordon has won the first match on the show. Didn't think that was going to happen, but it was a fun little moment. And then Matt Cardona came out. And I think this is something that's real prevalent on this show, that a lot of the people that weren't from the actual original ECW, if they were going to be on this show to wrestle some of these ECW guys, it needs to be someone like a Matt Cardona who can do some bumping and actually do a few things in the ring. So here we go. Matt Cardona is taking on Bully Ray. I noticed Hat Guy was not at ringside, which made me feel like he knew what might be happening here. And I'm going to try my best to be positive. Shame Joey Styles could not be on the call, of course, but just like Hat Guy, maybe he knew. So Joe Dombrowski is on the call, and I think he did a very good job considering he was by himself. If it were me, I would have stuck Joel Gertner with him instead of what happened later on, but that's okay. The audio not coming through the feed really sucked because Terry Funk was on the screen and he cuts what may be his last promo. And it would have been nice to know what he said. I did not hear what he said when I was watching the Fight TV version of this show. Popped for Cardona wearing his stupid WWE ECW tights. And I thought to myself, this has to be the last ECW tribute show. Cardona brings out a door, and then he got backdrop through it, which I thought was nice. Then Cardona was thrown into some fat tits from a woman at ringside in a Santa outfit, and she had some gargantuan breasts. So that got a pop. Great stuff with the cheese grater to Bully's head, and then Cardona copped it. Now he's bleeding. And then the referee and Bully joined together to do the what's up headbutt to the groin of Cardona, which was great. He tells the ref to get the tables, but then Bully gets the tables. And another thought, I wonder where you get these tables from, because it seems like it's much more prevalent these days that people are using doors, which is what me and my friends used to use when we did backyard wrestling, because they were easier to attain than a table that's, the ones that already have the legs on it and all that. I wonder, like, what place do you order something like that from? Like, we need one of those tables that are used in wrestling where people get thrown through them. Like, is there a place that does that? Is it their specialty? How does that work? If anyone out there knows, let me know. Cardona with a great kick out. And, I thought that this was a really great opening match. And this was probably the best match on the show. Bully hits a super bomb through the table and gets the victory. So a good opening to the show. And unfortunately, it's a steep downhill climb from here. And I feel really bad saying that, considering I'm a huge ECW fan. But my God, I feel bad, but this is what it is, okay? Out next, this is probably the worst part of the show. Frankie Street Tough takes on the Philadephia Playboy. I wrote, this better be good. But when I saw the Philadephia Playboy, I said, he looks terrible. And I was not fucking wrong. And look, I really tried to not be overly negative. And as soon as the match started, I was like, the Philadephia Playboy, I don't think he's even a wrestler. I think they just threw him out there for this spot for 911's son later, because even backyard wrestlers look better than him, who can't even bounce off the fucking ropes. This, to me, as a fan, is fucking insulting. He was absolutely shit. His outfit was terrible. I thought Sandman might be coming out. He can't even do a lockup. I'm sorry, Philadephia Playboy, you had no fucking business being out there. I'm sorry. I should have been out there, because at least I fucking wrestled for 2 fucking years in pro wrestling and 18 years of backyard wrestling. Guarantee you all that practice made me 10 times the wrestler that you were in this fucking match. You shouldn't have been out there. You took a suplex worse than a backyard wrestler. Then some theme music started playing. So, like, okay, this was set up for 911 coming out to do the choke slam. He brings out some random guy. And then the Philadephia Playboy, you fucked up the choke slam. Fuck you. You might be a really nice guy. I don't know you. I've never seen you before. You were wearing a stupid little mask, but fuck you. You can't even fucking time taking a choke slam properly. What the fuck were you doing in the ring? Who fucking booked him as well? Shame on you. So I didn't know who this guy was. We wanted to see 911 hit the fucking choke slam. Frankie got choke slam. Frankie took the choke slam well. And then we find out that it's 911's son, who I think looks like Balls Mahoney. Philadephia Playboy, you have no timing. Fuck off. I should be on the show taking that shit over you. So many people should have been in that spot over you. But people wanted 911, not his son. I'm just saying. I don't know what the situation was. Maybe 911 has a bad shoulder and he can't do that anymore, which I would imagine he should be able to do. And the son hit the choke slams just fine, at least on one of them. But we didn't watch the tribute to the Extreme to see your son hit the choke slams. We wanted to see 911, who we haven't seen in 25 years on television, hit the fucking choke slam. I don't know what the issue was, but if he couldn't do it, I wouldn't have done it in the first place. Anyway, let's move forward. So that was shit. Al Snow is out next, taking on Gangrel, aka the Vampire Warrior, who also wrestled in ECW with Jim Mitchell at ringside, which is cool. But I thought to myself, this is more of a tribute to Sunday Night Heat or Metal than ECW. Not a knock on Al Snow and Gangrel, but Al Snow versus Gangrel is definitely a match you would have seen on Heat or Metal. Like, you would have definitely seen that match at some point on one of those shows. Probably would have seen it on Raw too, because I know the Job Squad feuded with the Brood, which thank you, Joe Dombrowski, for the history lesson. Very good. There was a lot of messing around early, though, a lot of stalling, and I saw that as a prevalent thing within this show. A lot of stalling at the beginning of matches. I mean, the last time I saw a picture of Al Snow with his shirt off, he looked tremendous. I thought here his stomach was sticking out a little bit. He should have brought along a Job Squad shirt. I mean, come on. But it wasn't bad for what was expected. I did like that Jim grabbed head and then he got clocked. And I like that Gangrel. I'm calling him Gangrel because I don't like the name the Vampire Warrior. It's kind of tacky, but he got the roll-up win, and that was a nice little pop. And then Al knocked out the referee. So this was serviceable. This wasn't bad. We got something a little bit fun out of these two, and it was nice to see them to work again. So let's move forward. The new triple threat, which is Shane Douglas, Legursky, and Ray Jazz, along with Francine at ringside, taking on the Pitbull Revolution with Jazz and Angelus Orsini. I forgot to write down the names of the people from Pitbull Revolution. So let me just look at cage match here. It is Craig Steele and Trax. That's right, Trax, who looked like Pitbull number 2. So Francine, she looked good. I liked when Shane said, "Cut the fucking music." This match is about Gary Wolf versus Shane. So I'm looking forward to seeing how the psychology of this goes forward. Shane came in, went to work. Gary came in as well, and he was quite slow, to be expected. Shane and Pitbull, they finally clashed, and I could see that Shane keeps things very simple. And I appreciate Gary's passion, but I don't believe him ducking a double clothesline and clotheslining them both down because he was, again, he's an older bloke and he's a bit slower. This is what's going to happen when you have a tribute show to a company that was defunct 21 years ago. And I don't even think Pitbull number 1 was even, he'd been there like, I think he did a couple matches in 2000, but anyway, it was left to Gary and Shane. Angel Orsini low blowed Shane. Then Shane got clotheslined by Gary, then by Jazz, who'd been chasing around Francine. And then Gary hit a clothesline on Shane for the win. So Gary finally gets his revenge on Shane. Then afterward, there was a post-match promo that just went on way too long. There was a "she's a crackhorn" chant for Francine. I want to let you all know out there that she's actually a really responsible and well-behaved mother. And she is wonderful. And you should check out my exclusive interview with her on the Insider's Edge podcast on this channel. Let's move forward. The new breed of Extreme came out after this. Alpha Jr. and Beastman, who I've never heard of. They come out, talk shit to Douglas and Gary Wolf. The FBI are here to show up, but it's little Guido and it's Luigi Primo with Tommy Rich at ringside. So at least they had one person at ringside with them. I guess Big Guido was not available, or Big Sal, but whatever, that's okay. Because I guess everyone from the FBI is either retired or has passed away. Rest in peace, Tracy Smothers. Will be great to see Guido and where he's at these days in the ring. That's what I first thought. And this is my first time seeing Luigi wrestle. I haven't seen him wrestle, just one little clip of him with the pizza in the fucking ring and something that he did at AEW. I saw a still of. Wasn't interested in looking at it. But anyway, a lot of stalling again at the beginning of this match, at the beginning of every match. And I found the humor with the pizza to be lame at the beginning. But I did laugh at Luigi drop kicking Beastman as he was trying to eat that pizza and he didn't sell it. And I also popped for Beastman being slapped with the dough after Luigi's punches had no effect. I did think Alpha Jr. should not bother trying to do a play on the acknowledge me thing. I think that's tacky, lame, get your own thing, like your family member in MLW. You don't need to ride the coattails of Roman and what they're doing on WWE TV. Do your own thing, especially the new breed of Extreme. Show me something new. Hip attack from Arthur and the cannonball from Beast Man was finally something that had the crowd come alive. And there was a picture-perfect Sicilian slice from little Guido, who I thought looked good out there, but then he got squashed by them both. Arthur Jr. pinned Guido, and I don't know if that's what I want to see on a tribute to the Extreme. I think maybe Luigi should have copped the pin, not Guido, but maybe Guido insisted. Who knows? Anyway, it was okay, but here comes the Sandman after the match, and when he's doing his entrance, I thought to myself, come on, crowd, you need to fire the fuck up. But I didn't know what Sandman was doing either, because he kept on disappearing into the crowd. When we finally got him in the camera shot, that he just disappeared. I don't think Sandman drinks anymore, because he was feeding the beer to the crowd and not drinking it, and he was not smashing his head with the can. So that took away from it, and also took way too long for this entrance, considering nothing exciting was happening. And I'm not really interested in seeing fat marks take beer into their mouth that they probably can't handle in the first place. Arthur copped so he came in, he whacked out Beast Man with his kendo stick, but as we know, Samoans have a stronger skull. So he hit Arthur in the head with it. Arthur did not sell it. So then he went to hit him again. Arthur ducked, and then he hit Arthur in the back, and then he low blowed him with a cane. And then I wrote, and now what? I'm really not trying to be negative, but I just thought, okay, this was a fun shot of nostalgia, but it's just not the same. You want Sandman smashing that can on his head. You want Sandman spitting that beer out. You don't want to see him go through the motions. That's just what I felt. You see what he did at One Night Stand? That's passion. That crowd there was passion. Here seemed like potato soup in comparison. And I feel, see the way that I reacted there when I said that? I feel bad that I'm ripping on this show. I went into this wanting to fucking like go overboard and be like, oh, this is so great to feel that Extreme Championship Wrestling feeling again. But I'm sorry. Tim Embler, who I believe must be the promoter of the company, came out and cut a promo that went way too long. I understand that you need to promote your next show and promote the fact that the Nasty Boys might be having their final match in Battleground Championship Wrestling. I did like him going out there, though, and being honest and saying Devon couldn't show up because the WWE blocked it from happening. And Devon even called Triple H and begged him, and Triple H said no. But one thing I think I should say is Tim's mentioning here that they're going to do this show annually every December. Tim, the guys are too old. They're too old. You can give them a payday, and they'll probably take that payday because they want that payday, but you're going to throw them out there, and they're not going to be able to perform the way that you remember them performing as, because this is what happened through most of the show. And I felt bad for a lot of them that they're not going to be able to show what they used to do. You know, and there's a few guys here that I was hoping that they were going to be able to show me something that was exciting. But in the end, I thought to myself, man, it just shows you them not as good as they used to be. And again, I went into this wanting to blow the smoke right up BCW's ass and the tribute to Extreme right up its ass, and let everyone know how great it was to see this again. I'm sorry. But I appreciate the passion, but I'm just not sure if this is a solid idea. Because, like, who are you going to bring in next year? Because Scorpio will be a year older. Super Crazy will be a year older. Rhino's retiring soon. Who else are you going to bring in? There's not many people left. Anyway, you're just out there too long, man. This is a 4.5 hour show. 4.5 hours is too long. Give me 3.5 at most, if you want to add in all this stuff. Like the next thing, Jerry Lynn coming out, which is great to see. Pity he can't wrestle now, because I'm sure he would still be able to go in a sense. And he inducts RVD into the Hardcore Hall of Fame, which is well overdue. RVD comes out with his girlfriends, and my favorite, Jennifer, the blonde girlfriend. My God, she's a babe. And Katie Forbes is hot too, but I really like Jennifer. Anyway, And I also thought, how does RVD handle both these women all the time? There's a boatload of sexy right there. I didn't write any other notes on the segment. RVD cut a very nice speech, you know, thanking everyone and talking a little bit about his time in ECW before they showed him being inducted into the Hardcore Hall of Fame with the banner coming down. So that was like one of the best spots on the show, really. The next matchup was a four-way first pinfall for a finish match between four young guys, Keller, Vinnie Mac, Dan Miles, and Facade with Dani Motor ringside. Raven was out there on a chair on the stage with a microphone in his hand, giving suggestions of what he wanted to see as the match was going on. I thought that this was a real lazy way of utilizing Raven. I don't know what else I would have done with him. I'm guessing Stevie Richards wasn't available. It would have been cool to like maybe try and do some sort of like Raven's Flock, This Is Your Life or something. I don't know. Something other than this. I've seen Miles and Facade on the Return of the Dragon show with Ricky Steamboat's retirement, so I'm already aware of them. But Dan Miles, you're really hokey when you talk trash like that at the beginning of the match. So the match just started out clumsy and fake and over-rehearsed. Keller hit a sick cutter on the apron, but this match is going to be tough to enjoy with how cliche some of this stuff is. I hate being negative, but the guys really were working hard, but it's just fake choreographed shit. The show is 4.5 hours long. This match isn't necessary. There could have been something else you could have done with Raven. Facade off the chair to do a springboard, and then he copped a chair. I really wanted it to end soon. I feel bad that I'm being so negative on it because the guys did work hard. But Vinnie Mac, your fame asset was shit. Keller's offense is irritating, and you are a leg clapper, and it is all fake looking. Facade shows some flashiness, but it's too little too late. I was already taken out of the match. The suspension of disbelief was gone. Stop writing every single moment of the match with your choreography and learn how to go out there and listen to the crowd and improvise, because it's so obvious when you're at your level that you're at that it is choreographed and fake. I'm sorry, I don't like to be negative. I thought Miles versus Facade at that Return of the Dragon show was all right, but the other two guys in this match, they're not ready. Get some more training, please. Sorry. I haven't wrestled in 5 years, and I guarantee you I would fucking smoke you both in the ring. I don't give a shit. I'm out of shape right now, but I guarantee you the shit that I would do would look realistic, and I would go out there and improvise the whole match because that's the shit that I used to do. Sorry, don't mean to blow smoke up my own ass, but this match pissed me off. Facade won, thankfully, after Dani was involved with Vinnie Mac. Then the best part of this was Raven giving the review of all the guys and pretty much scorching them, but Facade got the thumbs up. Although I think Raven should have eased up on the valet and the dirty talk of the valet, whatever. Anyway, Tommy Dreamer was on the screen talking about how he wished he could have been there. Tommy, trust me, I don't think you wanted to. I'm sorry. I'm sorry for being negative. I'm just really disappointed in the show. Up next, Extreme Lucha Libre is coming our way. I had no idea who was going to be in this match, but thank God I saw Super Crazy, so I wrote, please save the show, bro. And it's him against Juvi. So I said, this should be good, surely, because Juvi's last 2 performances in XPW have been great. But then I thought, great, Juvi has a microphone. And he's carrying on his gimmick from XPW, telling everyone, fuck you, and he's being really rude. Super Crazy is up, nailing Juvi. Then Crazy starts the 10 punches in the corner, and the crowd fucked up. You know what you're supposed to do when Super Crazy does the 10 punches in the corner? He's supposed to chant it in fucking Spanish. It's clear that the fans in this building were not original ECW fans. I'm just telling you right now, the original fans pro saw this were like, I'm good, I'm done. I'm sure there was some there, but the fact that this happened showed that you didn't know what the fuck you were. Like, if you knew ECW, you should have known that. Un, dos, tres, cuatro, you know. Okay. Anyway, so it was great to have a little bit of pace in a match. Nice cross body from Hoovy and a great baseball slide into the chair onto Super Crazy, who was on the outside. Crazy is a bit thicker now, but he can still move. Hoovy grabs a door. But then there was a tarantula by Crazy, which was a nice homage to Jerry. And then Super Crazy grabbed that door onto open chairs facing outward on top of the frame. And then he got powerbombed by Hoovy through the door. And then Crazy kicked out, which was a good near fall. I thought it was over there. You got me, boys. And Crazy eventually goes for the moonsault. He doesn't do the triple off the first rope, second rope. He just goes to the top now, which is fair enough. It's probably bad on your knees after 25 years. He goes for the third top rope moonsault, misses it, then goes for roll-up pin. But then Super Crazy ends up winning in an okay match. So it kind of lifted things up a little bit, considering what happened just before that was a fucking travesty. Here comes Joel Gertner. He's doing his well, it is I, the quintessential stud muffin, Joel. And then he does his thing. But while he's doing his thing, the fans keep chanting shit. Stop interrupting him, you fucking idiots. For Christ's sake. I don't recall that ever happening in ECW. They just let him do his thing. Instead of the applause breaks and chanting this and chanting that. It's like he didn't really know who he was or what he was doing. But anyway, he did a good job. It was good. But I think Joel Gertner should have just been on color commentary for this show. And he should have done this at the beginning of the show. And introduced us to this show before handing it over to Stephen DeAngelis. Instead of just having him come out there and do this one little promo. It just seems like whoever's booking, which I don't know if it's you, Mr. RF, or what's his name, Tim something. I don't know if either of you know how to book. Just being honest. This was your big show on Fight TV, and I don't think you pulled this off at all. I thought it was very lazy booking. Sorry. I'm not used to being negative like this, you know. There have been times where I've been like real mad at AEW, but there were still things on the show that were, you know, okay. Usually something MJF did, but this is really disappointing. Rich Swann, takes on Too Cold Scorpio in the second last match of the show. I can't wait to finish this review because I'm hungry and I'm tired and I've got work early. So again, boys, please save the show. Please tell me Too Cold can still go. There's a little dance contest at the beginning. The referee tries to do the splits and hurts his dick and balls, which was kind of funny, but kind of lame. But again, so much stalling. It's a slow start to the match. There was finally a bit of pace with the near stalemate between the two. And great crossbody and drop kick from Too Cold. Very nice. Swann was trying to give us some sizzle in this matchup. And props to Joe Dombrowski for calling such a difficult show. Scorpio finally fired up with the Arabian press, and that woke me up for a little bit. And then there was a twisting splash for a 2 count. But Rich Swann, again, one of my biggest pet peeves of him is the fucking leg claps. So obvious on the back of your leg. Try and do it on the front of your leg and just be like a little bit more subtle. Do it like from a shorter distance, but hit it harder. Don't lift your arm up like that, bro. 14-year pro and you're doing shit like that. I'm sorry, but shit, man, come on. The match was making me sleepy. It didn't help that I was tired, but good 2 count after the gyro kick from Rich Swann. I nearly nodded off soon after that, though. It went on too long. 450 splash from Swann off the second rope for a kick out. This is awesome chant. It wasn't bad, but it wasn't awesome, dude. Twisting leg drop from Too Cold Scorpio. Good to see he can still pull that off. Nice finish, and Too Cold wins. So let's get to our main event of the evening. Rob Van Dam with Double Sexy and Bill Alfonso at ringside, taking on that big fucking Rhino. Please give me something here, boys. I was dying for it. This is one of the best matches in the show, though, thankfully. But I don't think anything topped Cardona versus Bully Ray. I'll give this honest review of someone that I'm a big fan of, and I had on the Insider's Edge podcast as well, Steve DeAngelis. He was not as loud and passionate as usual for his ring entrances. And also you can see my exclusive interview with RVD on this channel. So this was the perfect main event to have. You know, this was like the feud that didn't get to end back in the original ECW. So I wanted something decent from them, but again, there was some stalling. I did like Rhino's healing. I did like Rob's hot ladies helping him out. I thought Rob was still moving quite well, which was good to see. Of course, they do the standard brawl through the crowd to eat up time so they don't have to take as many bumps. I get it. I totally get it. It happens a lot in Sting's matches too. You got to eat up some time by brawling through the crowd and not taking as many. Cool, no problem. The only problem was they couldn't shoot it. They were out in the crowd for I don't know how fucking long. There wasn't a camera out there because they must have a bare bones crew from Fight TV there. So they couldn't shoot any of it. So I'm just pressing the arrow on my keyboard to skip 10 seconds, skip another 10, skip another 10. Get them back out there. Shit. Don't do it if you can't shoot it, boys. The best part of the show was when someone yelled out, "You suck, Rhino," and he yelled out, "So does your mother." Best thing on the show. Popped me huge. Woke me up. Some good shit, though, after this, though, I must say. The chair in the corner, you know, the drop kick with the chair in RVD's hand, and then the split-legged moonsault. He still got it. Heath shows up to help Rhino, which was a nice surprise. But then, of course, the lights go out. And they're out for a while. So Sabu has time to get to the ring. By the way, you can see my exclusive interview with Sabu on this YouTube channel. So awesome. The lights turn on. Sabu lays out Heath with a fucking chair. Rhino snatches a chair from Bill Alfonso. He gets a Van Daminator. Then the 5-star frog splash. It's over. Great finish to the match. Great. And a great finish to the show. A match it was decent. I would say this match was decent, but this show really disappointed me. I'm so sorry to say that, because there's a lot of Meanie Claus came out to end the show, who I've interviewed as well on this YouTube channel. My interview with the Blue Meanie, when I went into that with 10 pints of beer in my system prior. By the way, Claus is spelled Claus. Not clause with an E on the end, like the Santa Claus with Tim Allen. No, that's a play on words because there was a clause in the contract. But he goes out there with Facade and Dani. Dani Mo, sorry. And they throw out presents to the crowd. And Meanie says, "We wish you a Meanie Christmas and a happy blue year." So that's funny. But I feel really bad because, like, you know, I've interviewed Stephen DeAngelis. I have interviewed Al Snow. I have interviewed, the Sandman's son, Tyler Fullington. You know, they could have done something with Tyler Fullington and Raven. Wouldn't that have been interesting? Fuck. I've interviewed Rob Van Dam. And whatever. So, you know, I've interviewed some people that were on this show, right? So I feel bad. Francine as well, of course. I've interviewed people that were on this show, and I, you know, I don't want to like be too negative, but this is just, I just don't think this is a good idea to do this annually, because I don't know who you're going to bring in next year. And Tim talked about bringing in some new talent and having some fresh talent and building them up, and I guess maybe getting the rub from the ECW thing. But if the young talent include people like the fucking Philadephia Playboy, then maybe fucking not. I'm sorry, Tim. I'm sure you really tried with this show, but I don't think that these guys should be dragged out there anymore at their age, because they can't go anymore. And in the end, as a fan, you watch them, you're like, oh, it's not like it used to be, is it? You know, so I feel bad. I feel bad being negative, you know, because the guys, they all worked hard, but it just wasn't the show I was hoping for. We need to stop with tribute shows of old wrestling companies that are no longer around or haven't been around for 21 years. You know, it's done now. And if you want to do it annually, then I can't wait to see next year's show and see what you come up with. I'm sorry, Tim. Doubt you'll ever see this. I doubt anyone from the roster or whatever will see this review, but this was a shame. I'm going to give the show a 3 out of 10 for my final rating. I don't usually give shows that low of a rating, but 1 point goes to Cardona and Bully Ray. 1 point goes to the main event. And 1 point goes to Francine looking good. I'm sorry. There it is. There's my review show there of Battleground Championship Wrestling's tribute to the Extreme. I know the heart was in the right place. I have to say that. I know your heart was in the right place, and your heart will be in the right place next year. But this was a miss of a show. I'm sorry. And I hate to end our year of reviews on a negative note like this, because I know, again, the heart was in the right place, but this just did not work. So I'm Karlifornia. This is the WZWA Network. Please check out our t-shirt store on prowrestlingtees.com and check us out on all platforms. We just hit 1,300 subscribers on YouTube, so please subscribe. Please hit the bell. Check out all of our other content on our channel. I hope you've enjoyed this review. I'm sorry again that it was so negative. I have to keep saying sorry because I'm not used to being so negative, but this is what it is. I don't have long now until I have to go to work, so it's time for me to bid you farewell, and we will see you down the road. Thank you.
Network, that's the way we play. Good God Almighty. Network, that's the way we play. Get puppies. Network, that's the way we play. Get.
The following announcement has been paid for by the WZWA Network.